Assalamu alaikum. Today I'll be trying to talk about basically the basics of Islam using concrete details, concrete language, speaking with a little bit higher of a tempo, and a few more things. So I'll be talking about the five pillars. To begin, the five pillars are basically tenets of faith that every Muslim must know within their capacity, at least the basics. And they should be thought about or pondered on a regular basis on how to complete them, why to complete them, and where to complete them if needed. The five pillars are basically to pray, to fast, to perform Hajj if required to, prayer, fast, to pay zakat, and to basically say the declaration of faith when the person basically enters into Islam. If the person is a born Muslim, I guess they don't have to, but it is something really good to say on a regular basis. To begin, I will try to start with the declaration of faith. So the declaration of faith is a very simple yet very rewarding phrase to say, instructed by the Prophet, peace be upon him. There are a lot of things the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us to say, and saying something like La ilaha illallah is very important and very beneficial. A person could say it on wherever they are, um, under most circumstances, and it is a good way to just stop throughout your day or every few days or so to basically stop and then just say that I believe that God is one and the Prophet Muhammad is his last and final messenger. Maybe the reason why that we have to say this is mainly because it really simplifies what we really need to know theologically. And God really made it very condensed and allowed it to be very condensed, but also have a lot of meaning also. I'm not fully sure the reason why a person has to say it before they become Muslim, but maybe it is a very good way to initiate and start their life as a new Muslim. It's a good way to start it off. So when a person becomes Muslim, they basically say, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. I bear witness that there is no God but God, and Muhammad is his messenger and last prophet. The next thing I would like to talk about is the I would like to talk about prayer. Prayer is very essential to everyday life since we have to pray 5 times a day, and it is one of those things where it is just so important in the religion, and there are so many reasons why, but I'll try to touch on a few. So first, there are 5 prayers basically that a person has to perform if they are Muslim. There's a morning prayer, there's a sunset prayer, there's 2 afternoon prayers, and there's basically a night prayer. The names of these prayers are Fajr, morning, Dhuhr, afternoon, Asr, late afternoon, Maghrib, which is sunset prayer, and Isha, which is the night prayer. There are a lot of benefits to praying, whereas some of them would be prioritizing your day. Of course, for those that live in California or busy cities, it is a very good way to just relax and slow down and basically take the day much slower than the hectic world around you. There are also proven health benefits to making sujood, literally prostrating and putting your forehead on the ground when it comes to migraines and headaches and stuff like that. There are probably many other health benefits that I'm just not aware of. How a person prays is mainly a set of movements that the person goes through: standing, sitting, prostrating, bowing in a certain way, and moving his head to the right, from the right to the left at the very end, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, which basically means that the prayer is closing. It is required on every sane adult to pray, and it is basically children should be taught to pray at a very young age just to get them in the habit of praying 5 times a day, and it is very beneficial. Adults that are sane, that are able to pray, have to pray. The next topic I would like to talk about is Hajj. So Hajj is basically pilgrimage in Arabic. And this is basically when a person goes out and goes to the city of Mecca and Medina and performs rites of Hajj. Some of these would be stoning the devil at a certain place, making circumambulances, or walking around um, the Kaaba, running back and forth from Safa and Marwa, and ending on the day of Arafah making dua on a hill or a plain. This is required upon every Muslim that is financially, physically, mentally able to do so. It is a very life-changing moment for people, and it is a very beneficial pilgrimage to embark on. They also go to Medina and visit the Prophet, peace be upon him's grave, his mosque, and different other landmarks over there. One big lesson to learn from the pilgrimage is basically reconnecting and devoting yourself to God. The next topic I like to talk about is zakat. So zakat is basically a 2.5 alms tax that every person financially able to must make. It is a very small amount and it is very doable. Some people say that there's never been anyone in human history that became poor or broke because they paid zakat. It is only 2.5% and it is very doable. And there are also reasons why, or there are also requirements which are beyond the scope of this talk about how zakat should be paid, or when it should be paid, or when the person reaches the right amount of money to pay zakat. It is very beneficial because it is a purification to your wealth and to yourself. If at 1.7 billion Muslims paid zakat, then it would be a very good way to end world hunger. A good example is the companion Omar, when everyone was paying zakat in the surplus, when everybody was paying zakat, there's even a time where the government received extra money back. What I mean is, there are so many poor people that were fed and that were helped through zakat to the point where there was leftover money. So in that certain nation or wherever Omar was, every single person had their basic needs met. The last topic I would like to talk about is fasting. Fasting is basically a physical, mental, spiritual purification that a person goes through, and they abstain from intercourse and they abstain from food and drink. Fasting is basically a really good way to reconnect with your Lord, and it is a good way to physically purify yourself. It is done by starting sunrise, before the sun rises, and it ends after the sun sets. And the two things to abstain from would be intercourse and food and drink. The main reason why people fast, or Muslims are commanded to fast, is because God commanded them to do so. There are nations in the past that used to fast in other ways, maybe very similar to Muslims but different, and it was for very similar reasons, if I were to take a guess. There are a lot of health benefits to fasting, and there are a lot of evidences scientifically to the health benefits of fasting. When the person is done fasting, it is basically required for them to break their fast, instructed by the Prophet, peace be upon him. These are the 5 pillars of Islam, and I hope you learned something. And at the end of the day, always consult with a professional when having questions about the religion of Islam.